So we're live.
Famous last words, mate.
So let's just start out. We lost. Whose fault was it?
I think it was our fault, mate.
Because I
Do you
think.
want me to single out certain players in our game, or do you
Well,
want?
so that's kind of like, because even I at the end of it had like a. I guess there was a particular player that we all said at the end of it, and that would be one Mr. Manny Libok.
Yeah.
But then in hindsight, you go back and you notice that it was 17-0.
Yeah, we should have never been in that position to have to try and get a clutch kick at the end of the game to try and win it by a fucking 1 point or 2 points. It was not supposed to go down the way.
I mean,
As you mentioned, we were 17-0 ahead, like 10 minutes down. Like, what the fuck happened?
How's it S199? So yeah, like I even did it. I blamed Manny, but Manny didn't give up 26 unanswered points. Manny didn't blow a 17-0 lead.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in much later. I mean, sure, I still don't think that yellow card was a yellow card, to be quite frank. But we saw the same thing happen. I think it was in the Lions game earlier, or was it the New Zealand game? I can't remember, where there was a yellow card. And it's like the guy hit him right here.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the yellow card. It's like, what's next? You know, you're gonna do a shoulder tackle, and then it's a yellow. Is that the next one? So for me, that wasn't really a yellow. But that's no excuse. I mean, we train our guys with 14 men on the field in case, you know, something like that happens. So at the end of the day, I don't think 14 men was the actual scapegoat, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Because they only scored. We actually scored a try with 14 men. They didn't score a try with 14. And I mean, in hindsight, it was easy to blame Manny Libok for it, but then you realize Marco van Staden missed multiple tackles. Andre Pollard missed multiple tackles. Afalela Fossi missed multiple tackles. Ron Nortia had not his best game. Salman Murat was... why are we even dressing that man?
This is the question we keep asking ourselves every week, isn't it? Well, you and I, we keep asking this question because we just don't see it. We don't see the grunt. We don't see the fire in. But once again, nothing really happened with Eben on the field either. You know. But that being said, I mean, Salman was supposed to be the captain. He's supposed to lead the Chargers, you know, to that end result, right? And I mean, after a start in a flurry of like 2 tries and a penalty kick, and then what happened? You go lie on your laurels and wait for what to happen. So for me,
our first team, they only beat us by 3. Our starting 15 gave up 26 of those points.
Yeah.
Manny Libok did not start the game.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna make a video later where I kind of go back, because I went off on a tea about him. Bad. It was bad. And I think a lot of people did the same as I did. But that
was a team effort to lose like that, man.
Yeah, we lost because the Pumas were a better team. They were a better team yesterday. They were the
100%.
better team. We went out and played like shit.
They wanted it more than us.
And they got it.
And we look. I mean, I still think the selections were a bit iffy for me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people would say, "Yeah, but we had all these players and what." I don't see Salman starting again. Honest. Okay. I don't see him playing there. You know, the team's not the same team without Sia on the field. Just my opinion.
Agreed.
Right. The team is not the same team without Peter Steph the toy there. Right.
It's just, and then when Manny lines up to make that missed 30-meter kick that could have won us the game, the camera shows the coach's box, and you've got Rassi up in the corner, like about to walk out of the room. Like he knew, knew he was going to miss. Yeah. Sia is up in the box, which I thought was really cool at first, but then you saw Sia at the end of the game. He was down on the sidelines.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know if that was maybe he couldn't handle the pressure in the coach's box, or because he's Sia, he wanted to be down on the field.
Yeah,
because he's Sia.
I think he wanted to be. I think he wanted to be closer to the guys and
try to cheer them on. Try to cheer them on and get them some confidence so they could pull this out. And I think another thing I have to say is we had complained about the All Blacks doing it with Cody Taylor a couple of weeks ago, having him run for 70+ minutes.
Yeah.
Jan-Hendrik Wessels didn't come into the game until the 72nd minute.
Yeah, 100%.
So he never had.
He played very nicely to me.
He never had a chance to really like get in on a good scrum. Like, the last couple of scrums we had were rubbish, but like if he'd had an additional maybe 5 to 10 minutes, he could have made a difference. But because we kept him out till the 7th, and I just, like I said, I don't want to blame it on Manny because so many people made so many mistakes yesterday. It wasn't just Manny. It's easy to key in on Manny because of that missed kick at the end of the game, but we should have never been in that position in the first place. And to be fair, Manny gave up 3 points.
Yeah.
Andre gave up 26 points.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I was pissed. I was like, seriously, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, did I stay up for this? Seriously, did I stay up for this? And I mean, I could have watched it today, but no, I wanted to watch it live. I didn't want anything to bugger it up for me, in the scoreboard after the fact or whatever, on social media and stuff like that. But I was seriously like, fuck, man, I should have just fucking went to bed.
Like I said, my whole thing is that we played horribly. We deserved to lose. And I think at the end of the day, I do have to say something. So I have done 2 pregame braais this year, 2, because I live in Texas.
Yeah.
What has happened on both games that I've done a braai now?
Don't tell me the other one was on the second Ireland game, man. Stop fucking braaiing.
So maybe guys, maybe I need to stop braaiing on game day because we lose when I braai. But it was a great braai. Me and Jess. I mean, today's actually my birthday, man. Like
Oh fuck! Happy birthday, mate! I didn't even know that. Like,
yeah, man. The big 4-2. Jess got up this morning and took me to breakfast, and I got my big birthday present, and I'll show it off on camera here. Got earpods, man. Apple earpods, man. Dude, these things, I've never had a pair. These things are expensive. I don't buy this kind of stuff for myself. Now you might be saying, didn't you just buy a computer? I put a computer on payment plan. I got payment plan on this bad boy, dude. But so like it was afternoon game here. Got up early in the morning, watched the Curry Cup final. Man, that might have been the best Curry Cup final I've seen in like a good 10 maybe 5-10 plus years. What a final that was, man. I mean,
I was so annoyed with the Lions because they really fucked themselves up that game,
dude.
Bro.
You want to know what I was so annoyed about when the clock hits 80 and it's red and I'm like jumping up in my Lions jersey dancing around because we won the Curry Cup. Yeah. And then that son of a bitch who had to go to the Sharks, Jordan Hendrickson, lines up from 59 meters and fucking threads that bitch, man. I was like, son of a bitch, man.
Dude, they should have fucking kicked that ball out. They won their own line out.
Exactly.
They won their own line out. How the fuck do you not kick the ball out? Like, seriously. Like, those oaks need to go and ask themselves some serious questions today. I'm honest. Like they should have won that fucking game, man. They fucked themselves out of it,
dude. Now I gotta hear everybody, all these curry smelling mothers from the KZN tell me, how about them Sharks, man? I'm like, dude, get out of here, man. Go eat some buddy chow, man. Come on, bro. Like, leave me out of it. Put some pop in there. Like, you need to put some curry on that pop you eat, man. I'm just like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Like, no, great Curry Cup final. I mean, we got to see a healthy South African rugby is. Like, it's healthy right now. The Curry Cup was very competitive this year, and the two best teams made it to the end, and it came down to the wire. And you know, I had to give them props. The Sharks won. The end. You know,
like the Sharks, honestly, should have won by a lot more. If you consider like how much they had possession of that ball, bro.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It's like in that first half, like the Lions barely touched that fucking ball. I think it's like 70% possession or something, or some fucking ridiculous
and
number.
It was still 0-0 to like the 50th minute of the game, man. Jesus.
No, that was crazy, man. Like those guys were testing each other. I thought it was going to be a flurry of fucking tries. I know the weather was trash, so obviously that buggered stuff up a little bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, I still expected it to be a high try scoring game between both teams. I mean, they've got the cattle for it, they've got the speed for it, and but yeah, look, man, they were really like keeping each other honest in that game. So I'm very annoyed about the Lions losing that game. I'm happy for the Sharks. I mean, I'm not a supporter of either one of the two.
Yeah.
I was really just there supporting the Lions because I mean they're in my region.
Yeah.
And of course, there's friends of mine that's Lion supporters, so I was trying to keep them happy, for that reason. But yeah, man, I don't have a horse in that race. So I mean, whoever won, great.
It was a good game. It was a good
100%.
game, regardless. Yeah. Speaking of the weather, you know, there's three things in my life that I've never seen that I thought I would never see, and a couple of them I still haven't. Like, I've never seen a UFO. Surprisingly, since they all seem to come to America, we did that on an old podcast. They seem to come here a lot. I've never seen a ghost, and I thought I'd never see torrential snow in the Republic of South Africa. I got friends in Durban. Man, it didn't look like Minnesota or Canada, but man, it looked bad, dude. And I'm like, what the hell is going on in South Africa, man? Like, the game yesterday at Ellis Park, it was like 8 degrees and rainy. And like a couple of my friends that went to the game, the pregame, they're in their jerseys, long sleeves, maybe like a hoodie or a light jacket. By the end of the game, they're wrapped in blankets, man. They were
it was like fucking 5 degrees for us, man, over here where I stay. And to be quite frank, when I was watching this yesterday, like when the build up for the game, for the Lions and Sharks game, there was like chicks playing like violins and shit. I don't know what they were fucking playing, but it's like some musical instruments, and they had like no sleeves on. I was like, are y'all smoking something very harsh? I don't know what the hell is going on, but you shouldn't be wearing that. That it's way too fucking cold for that shit. And it's not like you didn't know. We already knew last week that the weather was going to be shit this weekend. So, I mean, come on, guys. Proper fucking planning. Like, get dressed properly. You guys are going to catch your death of a cold or whatever. And, take care of yourselves, man. Like, it's not worth it trying to look all fancy and, get some sickness or something.
While in Santiago, Argentina, it was like 36.
Yeah.
It was also 36 here in Texas. Like, it was, I actually, like, it was so bad that I got the braai on because I did some corn wrapped in tin foil first, and that takes about 30 minutes to cook on a braai, on the braai. So I put that on and just went back in the house and like closed the door, but opened the blinds so I could see it to make sure, like, it wasn't, because it was so hot outside. I'd run outside, get everything and run back in. And, but yeah, it was just, the weather is crazy.
Man,
did you watch the All Blacks Wallabies game?
I watched a piece of it. I didn't watch the full one, but I mean, I did not expect that outcome, to be honest. I expected.
I had All Blacks by 30. I thought the All Blacks 100%. Were going to beat the absolute stuffing, and
they were like they were there like to do it.
Yeah,
I mean they were like what 28-0 or something like that.
It was like it was like 21-0 within like the first 10, 15 minutes, just like we did against Argentina. But like it honestly, it's the tale of two coins with the same side. We did the thing that we ate New Zealand alive for doing. We turned around and did yesterday.
Yeah.
They're not the All Blacks anymore. They're like the 45, 50-minute All Blacks now. It's not it's 45, 50 minutes. And then they're absolute shit. That's what we did. We were amazing for 15 minutes. The other 65, we played like absolute shit. That's what we did yesterday. That's 100%. What we did. That's what we did.
We've spoken about this numerous times. Yeah, it's all about like we always talk, like even all the pundits, right? Everybody's like, our bench is just going to be too strong. Our bench is going to be this. Our bench is going to be that. And for the most part, our bench is that, right? And so when it doesn't come to fruition, of course, it's kind of a shock. You're like, okay, maybe it's not as great as what we think it is. Maybe it's just great against other teams that's got shit fucking benches. And that is the question we need to obviously ask ourselves. But seriously, like we stopped playing rugby after that first 15 minutes, man.
Yeah, it's like we ran off and hid. They got back into the game. I had hopes going into the second half because we're typically a better second half team, but that just never happened. It never happened. It never materialized. Like it just is never there. Now I will say this. I was screaming right before we go into the half. I'm like, we need to get Kobus Reinach off of there. He's fucking it up. And then as soon as I say that, not even 30 seconds later, what happens? Kobus gets a beautiful try off to the left side there. I mean, I felt like I was eating my words when I said that. Like I was like, get Kobus out of there. And I guess maybe you heard me. Maybe he had an earpiece in or something. It was like, man, fuck this guy. I'm about to go score a try and tell him to shut the hell up, man. It was just God. And I guess the other part was like, man, I forgot what it felt like to lose. And people are like, you only are on a 5-game win streak. I'm like, yeah, we're not Ireland or New Zealand. We don't go on 17-game win streaks, guys. Like 5 games was a good streak for us, And it's oh man. I'm
fucking pissed about it, to be honest.
But seriously am. But to be honest, I think in Mombella next week, or Nelsprit, if you want to call it the old name, I think next week Eben starts, Sia starts, Peter Steph starts. We get the full squad back, and we go out there and beat the shit out of them, and we lift that trophy. And like, this will all be an afterthought, honestly. And then we'll get ready for the Northern Tour at the end of the year. Now, that's where I think things are going to get interesting. We got the luck of the draw. We don't have to play Ireland. We don't have to play France.
New Zealand's got to do that, right?
Oh, no. I think it's going to be painful for New Zealand. I think they're going to have a pain. I think they're going to have a painful one. And I think Australia is going to have a very painful one.
I got to be honest, though. It won't be like just move on after that game for me. Like for me, it was all about winning percentage this year, right? Okay. So, and then, we should have comfortably beat that Argentinian team. Okay. We should have.
Yeah.
All right.
Easily.
The way we started, I was like, okay, this is impressive. Okay. These guys showed me up a bit. I was a bit nervous. I thought, okay, we'll do okay against them. We'll probably beat them by 8 or 9 points, right? That's what I maybe thought. Okay, maybe 12 on the maximum. Okay. But the way we started, and then like it's just like it's like when you see like you're gonna get a windfall, and then you see the tax, the tax man fucking took all your money. You know what I mean? It's like, so at the end of the day, it's like, nah, man.
That is a word about it that nobody uses here, and I wish that they would.
What word?
Like windfall. Like I heard it in New Zealand. It's like, oh, hey ladies, I've had a bit of a windfall. I was wanting to know if I could buy you girls a drink, you know? And it's like, nobody says that here. And like, when I just heard you say, it just took me back, man, to being south of because it's very big. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, they're very, very big on windfall as a word. And it's like, what's that mean?
I honestly don't know if it's that big. Yeah, I've never heard anybody that I speak to, anyways.
But it's like
say that. But then most people I speak with Afrikaans, so
yeah, I always just thought it was nice because it was like it was a good way of saying, "Hey, I've got some extra cash. Can I spend it on you? You know, I've come into a bit of a windfall. Can I buy you a drink? You know." It's just, anyways, I mean, like I'm thankful for the fact that I do trust Rassi. I don't think this was his bad selection that did this. I think this was guys that went out there and didn't perform to the level that we know they could.
Yeah. No, man. Like if you consider somebody like Thomas du Toit. Okay. It's okay. You're a prop. Nice. You know, I wasn't impressed by his gameplay. Gameplay.
Franz is still way better than him. Franz Malherbe is still way better than him.
And I mean, nobody to me beats Auction Chair, right? I still think that man is just like the fucking second coming when it comes to like props.
Not to change it back to come on, man. Tell me Trevor Nakane, man. That's the best thing about seeing that man win is you get to watch him dance.
Yeah.
Trevor Nakane's got some fucking, for a big man, he's got some fucking moves, man. I'm jealous. That guy can dance, man. But I'd like to see him and Razor Robertson have a dance.
I was just going to say, like, face off, bro. Like, let's go.
No, but I mean, like, I feel like I think Steenkamp has definitely earned his way into the rotation. Gerhard Steenkamp has been great.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of Jan Hendrik Vessels. I've seen a bit of Johan Krobler. I think he's okay too. But like Thomas du Toit, for a guy that's so big in the Premiership, he's really not been. It's kind of like Esterhuizen. He hasn't really been that big for our team. Like he's that was who man of the match was for me yesterday for the Curry Cup final. Andre Esterhuizen had he carried that team, man. Like he was fucking on a mission.
Yeah. He was running hard. But I mean, if you ever look at those scrums, right? If you ever look at the Lions versus the Sharks, right? For instance, okay, they had the same thing that we had happen, okay, and we both lost by fucking 1 point, okay. They had the much superior scrum, okay. Yeah. And that should actually, in theory, lead to like better point, like field position, better points, better everything, right? But then if you like, this is something I noticed, right? On the line side, the side where they kept winning the penalties, okay?
Yeah.
It was like the smallest motherfucker prop on the field.
Yeah.
It's like his legs were so fucking small. And that guy was just scrumming the fuck out of him, right? From the line side. I don't even know the guy's name because, like I said, I don't generally support the Lions. But he was just a smaller guy in stature, skinnier as well, and I just couldn't believe the way he was scrummaging, and it was amazing to see.
There's a prop for the Lions. He's the big fat prop that they have. That huge. He's a big old boy. You know who I'm talking about. I don't know his name.
Yeah. That back guy, that 260 kilo.
Yeah, the dude just
that
fat.
Guy's massive. Eh?
So funny story here. So he had gotten taken out in the URC one year by a player who took him out of his knees. He was out for the rest of the year. It busted his knee. It was a Welsh player that took him out. Like he aimed for his knees and took him out at the knees. So that player
Sorry, yeah.
But that player got carded for it and hadn't basically got himself carded out of Welsh rugby. Do you want to know where that guy ended up this last season?
Where?
The Dallas Jackals. Ben Fry played for the Dallas Jackals, which for anybody that doesn't know, they are done. Yeah. They went into liquidation this last week. I was asked to make a statement about it, and I did. And it's It sucks because a lot of those guys, that's it for them. This is kind of the end of the line. There's not really much lower you can go. But luckily, the South African Canadian hooker Dewey Kutsia, who had 5 tries in a game this year, I just got curious. I wanted to try and help the guy out, so I send a message to Vic Meyer. This is Heineke Meyer's son. He coaches with Houston, and said, "Hey, Vic, you should take a look at this kid. He doesn't count as an import because he's Canadian. You should take a look." I shoot Dewey a message, and Dewey was like, "Yeah, that guy already offered me a contract." I was like, "Yes, good for you, man. Good for, like he found a place to land. He found a place to land." So,
by the way, I think that lance prop's name is Tlabakanye or something like that.
I can't say his name. That's how I know who he is, because I still I'm still trying to figure out things. There's a young content creator named Labone. He's like 12, 13, 14 years old. And I've seen his last name, and I'm trying to figure out what he actually is. I don't know if he's Hosa, Zulu, whatever. I feel like, to me, because I've gotten so used to living on this side of I feel like it's offensive to ask. But every time I've asked, they're like, "Yeah, I'm not offended by you asking."
Yeah. I think Jenny people are quite happy
to tell you what they are.
Culture. Their culture. Yeah. I mean, they're quite proud of their culture, so I don't think that would be a problem to ask somebody. I mean, that's just.
Although I've noticed a lot of English South Africans don't want to tell you that, like off the top, they won't go like, "I'm English," like they don't. It's like almost like they're half ashamed of saying that, but like it's. But anyways, it was. So it's just the dichotomy of the day. We had some really good rugby, and then we had some cuck rugby, and it was by the team that we support the most. What do you think about the USA versus Samoa? I mean, I knew the USA was going to lose. I actually picked the USA not to win a single game this year. They did beat Canada, so I guess there's their one win.
I wouldn't be fucking writing home about it though.
Yeah, do you ever look at the world rugby rankings and go like, what? Because so Ireland's number 1 now, despite not having played in months.
Yeah.
What I don't get is, how is a team that didn't qualify for the Rugby World Cup ranked above 2 teams that did? And I'm talking about the USA. They are higher ranked than Namibia and Romania. And it's like, how? Neither of them qualified for the World Cup. Like they didn't.
I think it's really in the area that you have to play in terms of qualification.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, the America played, of course, like other American countries, or like South or North American countries to qualify.
Do you want to know what South American country eliminated the United States?
Was it not Spain or something?
It was Chile. It was Chile. Which was funny because their starting hooker, also played for the Jackals. I met him way before they qualified, but it was this. I did try and follow the specific cup tournament that they had, but it was like it wasn't even like Fiji's A team or Japan's A team. It was like their B teams playing because they were playing Tonga and Samoa and Canada and the US, and it was like, I mean, like they tried to make it seem like they had a chance, I guess. And it was like, dude, come on, man. Like, no, we knew it was going to be Fiji or Japan immediately. It's going to be Fiji, and that's who it came down to. And Fiji put it on Japan, the Brave Blossoms. I might be getting I'm hoping, Alan, please pick me up. One of my colleagues went to Japan for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he brings me back, if anything, a Japan jersey. But dude, have you seen some of those Japanese club jerseys? Those things are fucking cool looking, man. Like, I don't give a damn, dude. Like,
there's some colorful shit, bro.
Dude, do you remember the Sunwolves when they played in Super Rugby? I thought their jerseys were awesome, dude. The team was trash, but the jerseys were awesome. Like,
the teams were trash, though, to be quite frank.
I mean, something I did want to ask you since you're here.
Sure.
What would you rather see? Sponsorship all over the jersey or all over the field?
That's an interesting question, mate. I think I'll probably do it over the field, man.
So I bring this up because Benetton, they started the URC yesterday, and their jersey, well, much like the Sharks, it's just covered in sponsorship. And I'm like, I think I'm kind of the same way. I'd rather see it on the field than the jersey, because it's just like, that's kind of why I don't really like European rugby, because it seems like in European rugby, their jerseys are just covered in sponsorship. Yeah. And somebody had brought that up, and I was just like, they were like, I wonder why you don't do that in America. And I'm like, yeah, because we have a commercial break every 3 minutes here.
You don't have to do it, bro.
Well, yeah. Like, you don't have to do it here because we have a commercial every 3 minutes. Yeah. All our sports here are 3 minutes and then a commercial. And it's like, that's why we don't have. Now, they've started to here finally. Like, the NHL has one. The NBA will have one on one of the collars. Baseball still doesn't do it. And the NFL will put it usually on the helmet. They'll have a sponsor on the helmet. But, like,
I think the Springboks only have two, eh?
MTN, and then
Nike.
Well, but Nike's more of a manufacturer. That's a manufacturer,
Sure. So, but I think they probably still sponsor them as well at the same time.
It's just weird to me. Like, I still think the funniest rugby jersey is that French team that's sponsored by Grindr. The gay. I think it's Biarritz Olympic that's sponsored by Grindr, and I'm just like, man, what a fucking sponsor to put. That'd be like having a strip club sponsor your sports team. It's like
Lollipop Lounge, motherfuckers.
Yeah, like Hustler Club, sponsored by Hustler Club or something. Like, dude, oh man, that would be. I know when you get to some of those lower level sports, you have to do that. I mean, like, I've seen some. I mean, like I said, I think my boy Josh got the Hollywood Bets Sharks this year. Last year, I think he told me they're on their jersey like 12 times, dude. I'm like,
really?
Yeah, like, it's bad, dude. It's bad. Now, I know with like the Stormers, they've got like the 6-gun grill logo, the DHL logo, which I think is going away, right?
It's the only ones I know of, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know really what's going on with their sponsorship
at the moment. I don't have my jersey with me. I was going to ask you because, like, Lions have
Fidelity ADT,
and then what's on the? It's something work Johansson work or something like that. It's like a
Johnson wear.
What is that? Just workwear or something, or is that?
Yeah, that's like a workwear company. Yeah, it's
okay.
They do like safety boots, some work. Pants and work shirts, like collared shirts.
Okay.
Sometimes he knows they do that type of stuff, but it's more focused on like dress code for work, like smart casual type thing, I guess.
Okay, because I know like Vodacom is the Bulls. I know Toyota is the Cheetahs. Suzuki is the Pumas. I think no, it's Airlink Pumas. I think. Yeah. Anyways, weird sponsorship.
And Sports Club says Emirates on the lines as well.
Okay. That's the big. Or who do you think's bigger? I guess Fidelity would probably be bigger than. Well,
I don't know how big Emirates Airline is.
Emirates Airlines is everywhere.
Fidelity is quite big in itself as well, because I think they employ like fucking tens of thousands of people in South Africa. So, being such a big security company, so.
I tried to convince my employer to sponsor a junior hockey team.
Yeah.
And they said no, because we don't sell consumer goods. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, dude, we could advertise everywhere and we would never sell another press because they're capital gains goods. So it's like, it's pointless to put us on a look because we're not going to sell anything for it. And I'm just like, oh man, like, I always wanted to be wealthy enough to sponsor a sports team.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, look, I mean, I don't want to. Maybe like a little league.
You know what I mean?
Just to like get something started for the youth of tomorrow.
Well, it also makes it look like you're a humanitarian company. You sponsor a little league team, If anybody
we don't really have little league. We've got like Billicky rugby and stuff like that,
Well, like if you ever saw Bad News Bears, there was the original and then the remake. The original, they were sponsored by Chico's bail bonds. And then in the remake with Billy Bob Thornton, they were sponsored by a strip club. Like it was a little league baseball team sponsored by a strip club. It's just like, hey man, good money is where you find it.
But that's like the best sponsorship. I mean, think about it honestly, right? If you like on your deathbed and like the last thing you want to see and you're like 14, 15 years old, what do you think is that kid's last wish?
Oh yeah, you just want to see some boobs, man. That's all you want to see.
100%, man. Why not? Why not get some sponsorship there?
So I had the realization the other day that it's been 20 years since I was at university. 20 years, man. And
you're getting old, man.
It's not even just that, but like how much how much my world has changed. Because if you had told me that I was going to be talking about rugby in 20 years ago, I would have been like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm never going to talk about rugby. Like, and really the last 3 years is really when it's really kicked in for me. And I've been thankful because I've gotten to see my national team go through a transformation in that time. Yeah. Now we can kind of get back to it, which is what happened yesterday. What happened with this doesn't need to happen again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm all for blooding new players. I mean, we have to continue blooding new players because that is how you get the game to continue, right? For South African rugby. So I'm all for it. But I'm more for it than like one or two players at a time. Not like wholesale changes type thing, right?
Do you remember that second Wales test on the Wales tour when we did the same thing, when we blooded like 5 or 6 guys at one time? I felt like and we didn't really blood anybody yesterday. These were all guys that had played. I mean, I think the least caps on the team was probably Jan Hendrik Vessels. I think he's still like 1 or 2, 3
there's
caps.
A couple of them. There's a couple of them that's got like 5 or 6 caps now, like Salman Murat,
Ruan Norkia. Like he had 1 cap like 3 years ago, and now he's become a regular. And I did get a chance to watch a little bit of the Munster game. John Klein looked fine. I still don't get. Like, I guess because it's the end, we're not going to call him back into the squad. But, like, I really hope we do call him back at some point just because, like, it did mean a lot to me that he had played for Ireland and then played for his home country. Like, it felt like, hey, you're coming home, brother. You're coming home. Like,
look, I mean, I'm fine with Ruan Norkia playing, to be honest.
Yeah.
He was playing the last couple of games fucking amazing. Sure, he didn't have his best game yesterday, but as a general rule, he's doing pretty well. But yeah, at the end of the day, it was a team effort. Like that team just didn't want it as much as that Los Pumas wanted it, man. Like for real. Like I saw the hunger, and for me, the home field advantage has got nothing to do with it. There, I think personally, we're a professional team. That we're mostly well experienced in the key positions. When you consider positions like your scrum half, we had a very experienced scrum half. We had like in Kobus Reinach, we had a very experienced fly half. I mean, we had even Mani Lebok when he came on. I mean, he played through a World Cup for us, so I mean, he built up his experience there, right? And then the rest of the guys they were thereabouts. I mean, it's not guys that was like mostly like 2-3 games in. So these are professional guys, okay? And I don't think it should have been that massive difference. But yeah, look, man, there's so many things that you can point out for that game where we could have improved. Okay, we struggled in many facets of the game. Especially like on our defense. Our defense was very poor. I mean, there were so many missed tackles. Like in key positions of the field. Our kicking game was average. It was fine. In game play, it was actually better than like our normal kicking for posts. Our scrums were amazing, but I mean, it started falling apart there at the end, right? And we should have kept that
on the jugular, right? But I mean, I've checked a couple of people's videos and stuff like that. In hindsight, it also did look like the refs on occasion didn't want to give away the penalties when the penalties were still supposed to be given.
Yeah,
where you could see obvious upper hand in the scrum. But I mean, I'm not going to be blaming the ref. The ref to me was like, yeah, he was okay. Like there wasn't like for me anything that was like standout cut calls. You know what I mean? Maybe that yellow card. I think that was a poor call. But that's up to the ref's interpretation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If it was the other way around, he probably would have called it the same way anyway. So I don't think he was specifically trying to do us in or anything to that effect. So that's why I'm saying the ref was okay to me. I think our biggest thing was we lost. Sure, we've complained about it before, right? Yeah. We're not going to be those pundits that say, listen, we lost that game instead of Argentina that won the game. Okay, Argentina deserved that game, right?
They deserved to win. They played better than we did. They deserve the win, very much so.
But at the same time, I just want to say, and I know people saying, after everything after the word "but" that doesn't count, right? But for me, it's just like the way the team played. For me, they weren't their old self. Like the first 15 minutes, sure, no problem. They were playing this quick hands, like fucking amazing game style. And then just like retreated into their shells out of like I don't know what the fuck happened, to be honest. It was the weirdest thing to see. But yeah, it was.
There's another interesting statistic about all of this. When this tournament ends, there's only going to be 2 teams that beat every single team in this competition.
Yeah. And that's us in Argentina.
Us in Argentina. We all beat the All Blacks. We both beat the Wallabies. We both beat each other. And I think it goes back to what we've said a couple of weeks ago. It's obvious what Super Rugby has become. Yeah. And it's obvious what us going to Europe has made us.
Yeah.
It's
made Europe.
It's made us better. It's made Europe better, and New Zealand and Australia have gotten nothing but worse. Now, there was a bit of scuttlebutt this last week that came out. Franz Steyn, one of my favorite players of all time, who's now with the Cheetahs and the coaching staff, the admin side of it, them wanting to join Super Rugby. And if they
I think he's the director of rugby there. Actually.
Yeah, and if that's what they want to do, by all means, go do it.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't beat them yet. We haven't beaten them yet, Sports Club. We're going to beat them next week, I'm pretty sure. But if that's what the Toyota Cheetahs want to do, if they want to go join Super Rugby, you know what I'm going to do? Good luck, boys. Good luck.
Go make your money, man.
Because I have a tendency to believe that even the Toyota Cheetahs who could not make the Currie Cup final, they are going to beat the absolute brakes off of those Australian Super Rugby teams. I think they are going to, and I really hope that we get to see that poop emoji with a mustache playing in Bloemfontein again. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I did want to
fucking hula hoop with a mustache, man. Man, can I just tell you, if I ever see that guy, I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself. I'll probably just clap him as well, but give him like a proper clap, just so you can feel what it feels like to really be laid out, because I mean, like that acting of his is just like fucking atrocious, man.
I'm sorry if I ever see Nick Scheidt in public, I am going to slap him like a pimp would slap an unruly. I would just give him like, bitch.
Yeah, raise your pimp hand, bro. It's here.
I'd give it like this and backhand him and be like, you will silence a pimp is speaking. Just smack him and call him Susan and walk away. But no, like in all but it's like if that's what if that's what the Cheetahs want to do, I 100% go do it. Like because I've always felt like the Southern Kings had no business. They were never competitive. I felt like the Cheetahs were actually somewhat competitive at times. But I do want to close this out. There is a video, a TikTok I do want to show you. It's from another guy I follow. He's in Joburg like you. he didn't tell. Well, I guess he did tell me this in our early conversation. Apparently, this guy is married to a former Miss South Africa.
Yeah.
So it's but I've also said this man will be my personal trainer when I really would need to start losing weight, because I'm going to need him to shout obscenities and just all kinds of meanness to me as I'm like working in the gym, like, like move your ass, fat boy, like that kind of thing.
But you can ask any South African to do that, mate.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, if I can find an Afrikaner South African fitness coach here in North Texas, dude, I would be cut out of stone by that kid because you guys, when you get mean and you're saying angry things, it's scary as shit, man. Like, if you're a South African and you've never been outside of South Africa, if you've never been to America particularly, let me let you know this. You're one of the few accents that, like, when you want to sound condescending to somebody, you can really do it with very little effort. Like, it's the only one where I've ever been told my friend, and that person is not your friend at all. If they say, I'll tell you this, my friend, you are not their friend at all. At all. Like, you have stepped over the line. Be prepared. So I'm going to show you this guy's TikTok because he really summed it up, I think, the best. So here we go.
So South Africa went to Argentina to lose the game. And everyone I see everywhere is blaming Manie Lebok for that loss, but not taking into consideration that the Springboks led 17-0 at one stage, not taking into consideration that Nortje and Van Staden missed multiple tackles, conceding tries. People not taking into consideration that South Africa gave up a lead twice in that game, and yet everyone's still blaming Manie Lebok for that loss. And I'm not saying that Manie Lebok didn't need to get the kick over, because it's obvious he needed to get the kick over. He's an international, he's a flyer for the best team in the world. So obviously I'm saying he needed to get the kick over, but blaming him for that loss is completely unfair. You can never blame a kicker for a loss. Imagine dominating every single scrum in a match, taking line-out balls from the opposition and still losing the game. South Africa pride themselves with their squad depth, and yet we couldn't close this game off. So I think blaming Manie Lebok is just completely ludicrous. Now we'll have to wait till next weekend so we can get our original starters back in the side, because firstly, Salman Murat, not a good captain at all. I feel like if you're that big of a human and you're not taking the crash ball to get past the game line and you're looking for these silly offloads the whole game, you should not be in a Springbok jersey. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of this game. Who stood out, who didn't? Okay, bye.
Give me a second here.
That man is preaching everything we've been saying for fucking weeks, mate.
Dude, Brett is a really cool oak. I've met him on TikTok. We've made friends outside of it. He is if we ever end up on a live together, the first thing I'll say, he's my best right-wing South African friend I have in the world, because that guy is very, like, pro-Trump, all that stuff, and I laugh. But, like, when it comes to the game of rugby and also just, like, a lot of other opinions we have about things, it's another one of those things that's kind of like you and me. We may not agree on everything 100%, but there's stuff that we agree on absolutely to the T. And I'm not just talking about rugby. I'm talking about in life in general, and that's my proof. People, if you want to stay in your own echo chamber, you're never going to enjoy anything about life, because we haven't talked about it on here. But if you looked at me and Pierre's backgrounds, me and Pierre should not even talk to each other. We won't go into it. But me and Pierre should not even be acquaintances. But
we should be fucking enemies, mate.
We should hate each other. But the reality is, at the end of the day, because we're okay with getting outside of our comfort zones, because we've had to survive. We've had to survive in this world. We get along. And when I get to South Africa, this is going to be the first South African that I cuss at. And it'll be all fun. It'll be the funnest cussing at each other. Like I'm gonna be.
The fact of the matter is, it's all filled with love, mate. Like that's just how it goes, right? Because I mean, for me to call you, certain words, I only call those words to people that's like in my close circle of friends, man.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be great. But like, it was that guy. 100% hit the nail on the head. And he was just like me at the end of the game, had the same exact video. It's Manny Leboc's fault. And then in hindsight saying, no, it wasn't his fault. It was everyone's fault. They wanted to win. We didn't, and we lost. And next week, I don't want to do another one of these, damn it. We need to win next
100%.
week. I want to come in and have a positive conversation, but then also bring up, why the fuck didn't we do that last week?
Yeah, 100%. But for me, I never blamed Mani. Like for me, it was exactly that was the problem for me. Is that it was a team effort. I mean, the team went and lied on their laurels. 20 minutes in. So I mean, there was a lot of those guys that only came in like the second quarter of the last half. So. Of the second half.
Gentlemen, I'm checking the chat history to verify the statement that Pierre just made. And after checking the chat history, Pierre is not lying. He said we started well and then boom, we dropped it badly. There's no Manny Liboc statement in any of our conversation here. So Pierre
100%.
is telling the truth. He never blamed Manny.
For me, I want to try and always be looking at it objectively, right? And I am very passionate, so I get very agitated and very fucking colorful when we're playing poorly, right? And I'm the first guy that will point at ourselves, right? I'm not that guy that just wants to always blame the ref and the other team and the fucking coach. Like I will always try and take it inwards first. And for me, that was exactly it. We honestly dropped the ball on that game. We should have never been in that position in the first place. We should have never put Mani in that position because we know he cannot handle pressure moments when it comes to the kicking tee. We know it. Okay, he should have never been put in that position to have to do it. So, but at the end of the day, it was it. I guess there's a lot of people out there that's going to be happy because we don't have a perfect record. Especially like up north. And I say, for the record, fuck you guys. I don't give a shit what you think. All right. So, anyways, look, man. It is what it is.
All right, man. Well, that's it for this week. We'll be back here same time, 11:15 a.m. or 6:15 South Africa time. Every Sunday. This is going to be our show. Come on out. Thank you. I believe his first name is, so we had, I think, 2 people named Llewellyn that dropped by today. I think the sports club is also Llewellyn, I think is his legal first name, but
could be.
So, but come on, tell everybody, come on out, ask us questions, make comments. We're always down. And we will see you guys again at the same time next week.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for popping past. And leave those comments down below, and let's get chatting, man.
Hell yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.